गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदा नन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरा वनचारी यमुनातीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदा व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधे जय राधा रासबिहारी राधे जय गौरांगी गौरांगी जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शन जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय अनंत देव जय निताय चैतन्य जय निताय चैतन्य निताय चैतन्य जय निताय चैतन्य जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। हरि नाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य स्तोत्र शत। His Divine Grace Shri Abhay Charanaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य स्तोत्र शत। His Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की जय। जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ षट गोस्वामी प्रभुगण की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। कावेरी माई की जय। भक्ति देव की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories and glories and glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतं सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं गायतीं कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीदिनदिनकारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4. Let's take the shloka for today. Canto 4, Chapter 9. Canto 4 is titled The Creation of the Fourth Order. Chapter 9 is titled Dhruva Maharaj Returns Home, and today we're discussing the 16th verse. Okay, I'm sure the shloka is on your screen. Yasmin viruddha gatayo hai anisampatanti vidyadayo vivida shaktaya anupurvayat tad brahma vishwabhavam ekam anantamadyam आनंदमंत्रम अविकरणम अहम प्रपद्यन्ते यस्मिन् विरुद्ध गतयो है अनिसंप्रपतन्ति विद्यादयो विविध शक्तया अनुपूर्वयत् तद्ब्रह्मा विश्वभावम् एकमनंत आद्यम् आनंदमत्रम् अविकरणम अहम प्रपद्यन्ते यस्मिन् विरुद्ध गतयो है अनिसंपतन्ति विद्यादयो विविध सकटया अनुपूर्वयात् तद्ब्रह्मा विश्वभावम् एकम् अनन्तमाद्यम् आनन्दमत्रम् अविकरण अहम प्रपद्ये. Word to word translation. Yasmin, in whom, viruddhagataya, of opposite character, he, certainly, anisam, always, patanti, are manifest, vidya adaya, knowledge and ignorance, etc. Vividha, various, Shaktaya energies. Anupurvayat continually. That Brahman, Vishwabhavam, the cause of material creation. Ekam, one. Anantam, unlimited. Adyam, original. Anandamatram, simply blissful. Avikaram, challengeless. Aham, I. Prapadye, offer my obeisances. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation: My dear Lord, in your impersonal manifestation of Brahman, there are always two opposing elements, knowledge and ignorance. Your multi-energies are continually manifest, but the impersonal Brahman, which is undivided, original, changeless, unlimited, and blissful, is the cause of the material manifestation. Because you are the same impersonal Brahman, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport: In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the unlimited impersonal Brahman is the effulgence of the transcendental body of Govinda. In that unlimited effulgent aura of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are innumerable universes with innumerable planets of different categories. Although the Supreme Person is the original cause of all causes, his impersonal effulgence, known as Brahman, is the immediate cause of the material manifestation. Dhruva Maharaj therefore offered his respectful obeisances unto the impersonal feature of the Lord. One who realizes this impersonal feature can enjoy the unchangeable Brahmanda, described here as spiritual bliss. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that the impersonal feature or Brahman manifestation of the Supreme Lord is meant for persons who are essentially very advanced, but still not able to understand the personal feature or variegatedness of the spiritual world. Such devotees are known as Jnana Mishra Bhaktas, or devotees whose devotional service is mixed with empiric knowledge. Because the impersonal Brahman realization is a partial understanding of the absolute truth, Dhruva Maharaj offers his respectful obeisances. It is said that impersonal Brahman is the distant realization of the absolute truth, although apparently Brahman seems to be devoid of energy. Factually, it has different energies working under the heading of knowledge and ignorance. On account of these different energies, there is continually a manifestation of Vidya and Avidya. Vidya and Avidya are very nicely described in Ishopanishad. It is said that sometime due to Avidya or poor fund of knowledge, one accepts the absolute truth as ultimately impersonal. But in fact, the impersonal and personal realization develops in proportion to the development of devotional service. The more we develop our devotional service, the more closely we approach the absolute truth, which is the beginning. When when we realize the absolute truth from a distant place is manifest as impersonal. People in general who are under the influence of avidya shakti or maya have neither knowledge nor devotion. But when a person who is little advanced and therefore called jnani advances even more, he is in the category of jnana mishra bhakta, or a devotee whose love is mixed with empiric knowledge. When he is still further advanced, he can realize that absolute truth is a person with multi energies. At advanced devotees can understand the Lord and his creative energy. As soon as one accepts the creative energy of the absolute truth, the six opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are also understood. Devotees who are still further advanced in full knowledge can understand the transcendental pastime of the Lord. Only on that platform can one fully enjoy transcendental bliss. An example is given in this connection by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur of a person proceeding towards a destination. As he approaches, he sees the destination from a distant place, just as we see a city from distance. At that time, he simply understands that the city is situated at a distance. When he comes still nearer, however, he sees the dooms and the flags. But as soon as he enters the city, he sees various paths, gardens, lakes, marketplaces with shops and persons buying. He sees varieties of cinema houses and he sees dancing and jubilation. When a person actually enters the city and personally sees the activities of the city, he becomes satisfied. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to Canto 9 of Srimad Bhagavatam, titled The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 9, chapter titled Dhruva Maharaj Returns Home, text number 16. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshururmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utavadagamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So welcome all the devotees to this wonderful session on Srimad Bhagavatam, the most enlivening sessions that we can have during the course of the day. And that's why we begin our day generally with chanting and reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Very important for us. And just to give you a little background about this chapter, Dhruva Maharaj, maybe let's go back to the starting of Dhruva Maharaj's story itself. Dhruva Maharaj is the son of Uttanapad, and Maharaj Uttanapad had two wives, Suniti and Suruchi. Suniti is always, as the name suggests, Niti, would go as per what the Niti says, what the logic says, and Suruchi is always interested only in her personal benefit. So that's the differentiation which is given there. And Suruchi is more pampered by Uttanapad, and Maharaj Uttanapad is more under control of Suruchi. And Suniti is kind of neglected, though she is a very good wife. This is the corollary that we see that, she's been managing things very well, but she's still ignored by the king. And both of them have children, both of them have sons. The sons' names are Dhruva, born out of Suniti, and Uttama, born out of Suruchi. And one day, they are in the area where the family is sitting together, except Mother Suniti, who's a little away from there. Suruchi is there, Maharaj Uttanapad is there, Uttam is there, and Dhruva is there. And Dhruva is intending to sit on the lap of Maharaj Uttanapad. And Mother Suruchi insults him, saying that no, you cannot sit because you are born to Suniti. And if at all you want to sit on the lap of your father, you will need to be born, you need to take birth from my womb. And she pulls him down from the lap of the father. And this infuriates, or this insults, or this disturbs Dhruva Maharaj very much, and he starts crying over it, goes to his mother, Suniti, and narrates the whole thing as to what happened. And Mother Suniti says, it's okay, don't get worried, it's all fine. You should actually aim at much larger than sitting on the lap of your father. And that's where the whole pastime of Dhruva Maharaj comes into spotlight. And then Dhruva Maharaj is asking, how do I do that? He says, if you worship Lord Narayana, you can get a bigger kingdom, you can sit on the lap of the whole world, actually. So Maharaj Uttanapad at this point of time is not able to make any statement because he's generally controlled by Mother Suruchi, his queen. And Suniti advises Dhruv Maharaj to go to the forest and meditate. It's not that she advises, she tells, or Dhruv Maharaj is inquiring where is Lord Narayan available, and Suniti guides him, saying that he is far away in the forest, just to, you know, ensure that Dhruva doesn't really ask for it. Because if you tell that it's very far off and it's in a dangerous place and all that, kids will avoid going there. She wanted to deter the determination of Dhruva Maharaj to go there. But Dhruva is very determined. He says, no, I would like to go there. And he seeks the blessings of mother. And this mother comes as a guru here. She guides him to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So she becomes a guru there. And as Dhruva, the small little boy of 5 years, proceeds into the forest, he doesn't know where to go, how to go. He has no knowledge what to do. And that's where comes Narad Muni. Narad Muni also dissuades him, saying that, you're a young boy, small boy. Go back, play with your mates. Go back and play with your friends. This is not your age for meditation or looking for Lord Narayana. But here, Dhruva, who is very determined, says, sir, either you guide me or just leave my way. I will find my way. So looking at the determination of that little boy and looking at the devotion of that little boy, though he is doing this for a material advantage or gain some material benefit, this is where the shloka actually correlates here also. Jnana Mikshra. So he has knowledge, but he's looking at it as from the material viewpoint of it, because he wanted a bigger kingdom than his father, Maharaj Uttanapad. And when Narad Muni sees the determination, he says, okay, I will guide you. And he accepts him as disciple. And Dhruv Maharaj also accepts Narad Muni as his spiritual master, a young boy of 5 years getting at a spiritual master, getting guided by him, and moves into the forest. And when he goes into the forest, it's a very dangerous place, and not like today's forest where, most of the forest is acquired, and you'll see a lot of villages and towns coming right next to it. So the wild animals don't seem to be there. But there in those days, the forests were very much in existence, and a lot of wild animals were there. And there was also a scare that, Guru Maharaj may be eaten by the lion, or maybe disturbed, or, not so, I would say, safe in the forest because there are so many wild animals. But still, as he had decided, he enters the forest and goes to a place as guided by Narad Muni and starts meditating. And when he starts meditating, initially he would eat fruits and berries every day. Then over a period of time, he started following the austerities, like not eating anything for a couple of days. And then, at regular intervals, he would eat, but then not every day. And then as he moves, then he stops eating berries and fruits also. He only stays on water. And over a period of time, he stops even taking water every day. It's only once in a few days that he would take a few drops of water, a few sips of water. And as we move forward from there, he even stops taking water. So that's the kind of austerity that is being followed by Dhruv Maharaj. At one point of time, he even stops breathing regularly. He stops his breathing. And that's where all the demigods starts getting a little worried about it. And they go to Lord Narayana and request him, saying that I think this boy needs your darshan, and only with your darshan he'll be satisfied. Otherwise, we may all choke to death. And Lord Narayan himself comes down and gives darshan to Dhruv Maharaj. And the most, in this chapter that I find is, I wouldn't call it as, it's a very important thing that when Dhruv Maharaj is seeing, when the Lord comes in front of him and when he sees him, he's completely awestruck. he's completely mesmerized and he's not able to speak anything. Yeah. And a similar incident is also seen uh, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, where, the Lord comes in front and we are not able to realize anything, not able to speak anything. We are not able to uh, glorify the Lord. Yeah. This is the case where, one is wonderstruck and he is not able to speak anything. So something similar to that happens to Dhruv Maharaj also. He is not able to speak anything. But at the time when the Lord touches his conch shell to his head, to Maharaj's head, the young boy of 5 years, without knowing anything, starts glorifying the Lord. And he glorifies in a way that, even the best of the possible Sanskrit scholars would not be able to do it. So we can see that the Lord can give us anything and everything. If He wishes, He can give us knowledge. If He wishes, He can give us bhakti. But the most important part of it is saying that you should have the desire which should come from within that. Once you have the desire only, the Lord will offer you anything. And here in this particular shloka that we saw today, it is talking about impersonal Brahman and personal Brahman. This very, to a large extent, a lot of people who are trying, not surrendering to the Lord, but they want to understand by empiric knowledge. What do you mean by empiric knowledge? Empiric knowledge is something which is concocted, something which is not seen, something which is not authorized by Vaishnavas. And that's the kind of knowledge that people start looking at the Lord. It is not possible to see the Lord by empiric knowledge. There are 2-3 examples that we can really look at it in this case. Now, a very crude example that you can look at is there's another one also which is given by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, which I will discuss with you. Is if you want to meet the Prime Minister, this is a very crude example that I want to give. If you want to meet the Prime Minister of the country, you should actually go forward, take an appointment with him, meet his security guards, meet his personal secretaries, and then they would give you an appointment. And at the same time, you should also have a valid reason to meet the Prime Minister. You can't just go and say, some ordinary things and something mundane to him and just meet him. No, that's possible. If you have business, if you have serious business only, you can meet the Prime Minister of the country. It has so many protocols that you have to follow. So in such a case scenario where we see even to meet Prime Minister, you need to follow the protocols. You need to have a valid reason. You need to be, authorized to see him. You can't just go into any place and say, I want to meet the Prime Minister of the country. No. Right? So one should have the basic qualification to meet even a Prime Minister of the country. Forget about the Lord. Lord is much, much higher than than the Prime Minister of the country. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is supreme. So if you have to meet him face to face, you need to have certain qualifications. You can't just, go by your own word jugglery and then see him. There's another example which Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj gives, and this is about a train. And this is actually to differentiate between the personal and the impersonal. So when the train was introduced in India, many people didn't know what was a train. So the villagers, when they hear about a train, what is their impression of the train? Is saying that something which makes huge noise and which leaves black smoke. That is a train. Okay. The big noise that comes out of this train. So their understanding is incomplete. Yeah. And there are some who actually know when the train is coming, they would have seen the train. And for them, the train is that bright light which comes in from the engine. And there are, series of, the coaches. So they said there is a long thing which is coming with a bright light. That is called train. But then there is somebody else who actually sees the train coming to the station in front of them, going inside into the train and seeing that there are passengers inside, then there are compartments inside. There's something that you can sleep upon. There's some place where you can store your luggage upon. This is a very similar example which is given in today's shloka also. If you see today's shloka at the end, he says, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that he is talking about a person proceeding towards a destination. As he approaches, he sees the destination from a distant place, just like as we see a city from a distance. So the person doesn't really realize what is there in the city, because this is the first time that he's coming to the city. He doesn't know what is there, but he just sees something at a distance. At that time, he simply understands the city is situated at a distance. And when he comes a little closer, then he sees the dooms and the flags. The big buildings are there. Then there are flags which are being hoisted on every building or in the temples, all such things that he sees. But as soon as he enters the city, he sees various. There are roads in the city, there are gardens in the city, there are lakes, there are marketplaces, there are shops. And in those shops, there are persons who are buying. Yeah. And then he also sees varieties of cinema houses, and he also sees dancing and jubilation in that city. So then that person is actually entering the city. He personally sees the activities of the city. He becomes satisfied. So for a soul to become satisfied, he should personally see the Lord, not that impersonal state of mind that we are into, and then we say we serve the Lord. That is karma. Sorry, jnana mishra bhakti. The little knowledge that we have, and then we mix it with something else, and then we try to become devotees, and that's jnana mishra bhakti. Yeah. So it says, who's a jnana mishra bhakta? A devotee whose love is mixed with empiric knowledge. Yeah. And as he advances further, he can actually realize the absolute truth in person with multi energies. He actually knows the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he knows how he behaves and how he works, how he sits, how he eats. All that can be known by a devotee only once he advances in the spiritual life. Now, why do people are under the influence of this Jnana Mishra Bhakti or Avidya Shakti? That is because of Maya. It is not because of knowledge or devotion, but it is because of Maya that the person is, who's little advanced, is, kind of into that illusion to look at. And in Ishopanishad, it is very nicely described as to what is Vidya and Avidya. Yeah. When there is, it is said that there is sometimes due to Avidya or a poor fund of knowledge, one accepts the absolute truth as ultimate impersonal. No, that's absolutely wrong. The ultimate truth is person. There is a personality, there is an individual with whom you can have your sambandha, you can have your relationship with that person. But the fact the impersonal and the personal realization develops in proportion to the development of devotional service. The more one develops the devotional service to the Lord, he can start identifying himself or herself with the personal Brahman or the personal form of the Lord in proportion to the devotional service that we had. And the more we develop our devotional service, the more closely we approach the absolute truth, which is beginning. And when we realize the absolute truth from a distance, is the manifestation of the impersonal. So, as we said, the person who's actually traveling into that city, the example that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives, is from a distance he feels, yes, there is a city there. That's the impersonal part of it. The personal part of it is that when he reaches the city, he goes around to see the path, he goes around to see the gardens, he sees the waterfalls, he sees various other things, he sees people around there, he also sees people shopping and personally available. So that is the personal form. So one needs to actually start and develop that personal relationship with the Lord. How do we develop the personal relationship with the Lord? Well, it becomes, as properly we said, as always said, starts with chanting, reading, and then as we progress, we should also take up the personal service of the Lord. The personal service of the Lord is not only necessary in the altar, but yes, it is important for devotees, and especially grahasthas. They should take up to Krishna consciousness and serve the deities. They should have deities at home if possible, or otherwise, at least at the temple, they should serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of the deities. But before that, the devotees can also serve the Lord by personally doing some seva to them, like stitching the garlands or stitching the clothes for them, the dresses for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, personally cleaning the temple hall, cooking for the Lord, personally cooking for the Lord. These are all things with which we develop our personal relationship with the person. Then you feel, yes, I'm cooking for Krishna, I'm cooking for Jagannath Baldev Subramanya, I'm cooking for Gaurangi Bangalore, I'm cooking for Lakshmi Narsingadev Bhagwan. And then the thought starts germinating in our mind as to what can I do to keep them happy? What can I do to make them more happy? So, Srila Prabhupada would make items which are very, very delicious. He would make sandesh, which is very popularly known, sweets, a lot of other sweets. He would make kachoris. So this is the way that one needs to really establish his relationship or her relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Saying, okay, Jagannath likes different varieties of food stuff. What can I make for Jagannath? Yeah. But it should not be the other way around. Many times we think that the devotees are making something because they want to eat. I want to eat rasmalai, so I make rasmalai and offer it to the Lord so that I can get it. No, we should remove ourselves from out of this view actually. And that relationship should be between the devotee and the devoted. Devoted is the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there you should see what does he like, what does she like, what does my mother Radharani likes. That's the way that one needs to really develop the personal relationship rather than the impersonal platform that we generally practice. So these are the areas that one needs to really look at, and the multi energies are continually manifesting. And it is also said the impersonal Brahman, which is undivided, original, changeless, unlimited, and beautiful, is the cause of the material manifestation as we spoke. It is the cause of Maya. I think this is what we had to cover today. I have covered most of it from the shloka today. If there are any questions from devotees, I'm happy to take them. Or if there's no question, then we could end our session here today. For my own benefit and for the benefit of all the devotees, I would like to read the translation and the purport of today's shloka. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear Lord, translation is, my dear Lord, in your impersonal manifestation of Brahma, there are two opposing elements, knowledge and ignorance. Your multi-energies are continually manifest, but the impersonal Brahman, which is undivided, original, changeless, unlimited, and blissful, is the cause of material manifestation. Because you are the same impersonal Brahman, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the unlimited impersonal Brahman is the effulgence of the transcendental body of Govinda. In that unlimited, effulgent aura of Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are innumerable universes with innumerable planets of different categories. Although the Supreme Person is the original cause of all causes, his impersonal effulgence, known as Brahman, is the immediate cause of the material manifestation. Dhruva Maharaj therefore offered a respectful obeisance to the impersonal features of the Lord. One who realizes the impersonal feature can enjoy the unchangeable Brahmanda described here as the spiritual bliss. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that the impersonal feature of Brahman manifestation of the Supreme Lord is meant for persons who are essentially very advanced but still not able to understand the personal feature or variegatedness of the spiritual world. Such devotees are known as Jnana Mishra Bhaktas, or devotees whose devotional service is mixed with empiric knowledge. Because the impersonal Brahman realization and the partial understanding of the absolute truth, Dhruva Maharaj offers his respectful obeisances. It is said that the impersonal Brahman is the distant realization of absolute truth. Although apparently Brahman seems to be devoid of energy, factually it has different energies working under the heading of knowledge and ignorance. On account of these different energies, there is continually a manifestation of avidya and vidya. Vidya and avidya are very nicely described in Ishopanishad. It is said that sometimes due to avidya or a poor fund of knowledge, one accepts the absolute truth as ultimately impersonal. But in fact, the impersonal and personal realization develops in proportion to the development of the devotional service. The more we develop our devotional service, the more closely we approach the absolute truth, which is the beginning. When we realize the absolute truth from a distant place is manifest as impersonal. People in general who are under the influence of avidya shakti or maya have neither knowledge nor devotion. But when a person who is little advanced and is therefore called the jnani advances even more, he is in this category of Jnana Mishra Bhakta, or a devotee whose love is mixed with empiric knowledge. When he is still further advanced, he can realize the absolute truth is a person with multi energies. An advanced devotee can understand the Lord in his creative energy. As soon as one accepts the creative energy of the absolute truth, the six opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are also understood. Devotees who are still further advanced in full knowledge can understand the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Only on that platform can one fully enjoy transcendental bliss. An example is given in connection by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, how the person proceeding towards a destination, as he approaches, he sees the destination from a distant place, just as we see the city from a distance. At that time, he simply understands that the city is situated at a distance. When he comes still nearer, however, he sees the dooms and the flags. But as soon as he enters the city, he sees various paths, gardens, lakes, marketplaces with shops. The person's buying, he sees varieties of cinema houses and he sees dancing and jubilation. When a person actually enters the city and personally sees the activities of the city, he becomes satisfied. So at the end, thank you very much for your patient hearing. We'll end the session here. I appreciate your time in coming here and participating in this. I thank the management for giving me an opportunity to speak on the subject today. Please pardon me for any shortcomings that I would have had while discussing on the subject matter. Thank you very much. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo ananta koti vaishnava vrinda ki jai.